as the Trailblazers return home after a 3-game road trip to take on the Denver Nuggets. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation with me, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Of course, you can go to youtube.com and type in Rip City Radio. Boy, howdy. The Blazers went on the road, and they did exactly what they needed to do. They had a 3-game trip that saw them go to L.A., it saw them go to the other L.A., and it saw them go to Utah, and the Trailblazers went 2-1 on that road trip. Very good road trip, all things considered. You wish they would have beat the Clippers in the first game of that trip, but you know what? It was one of those nights where the offense just was not working for them. So they go to the Crypto.com, Staples Center, up the road a little bit, and they get a win the very next night against the Lakers team that did not have Luka Doncic or LeBron James, and some people would poo-poo that. They'd say, oh, yeah, they won that game, but they didn't have their stars, and I would counteract with, yeah, and that was the type of game that this team lost a lot over the last few years, and they didn't lose that one. And then they go to Utah, and Utah was ready, and then they weren't ready, and then they were ready again. The Jazz outscored the Blazers 43-33 in that first quarter. The comments I was getting from fans was, hey, where's that defense? What's going on? I don't like this. Well, and in the second quarter, the Blazers flipped the script back in their favor. They outscored Utah 46-30, and things were looking up. They outscored Utah 38-25 in the third. And in the fourth quarter, Utah said, not so fast, my friend, just like Lee Corso would say, and they mounted a comeback. They outscored the Blazers 36-19, and it came down to the wire when Utah had a chance there late to get a shot to tie the game or take the lead, and everything just played out okay for your Trailblazers in the end as they grabbed the 136-134 victory. And again, similar to that game against the Lakers, probably the type of game that this Blazer team would have let slip out of their hands. And you got to give Utah credit. As much as the Blazers fumbled a little bit, Utah played an extremely good fourth quarter, never wavered as they got down big. In fact, the biggest lead for the Blazers on the night was 22 points. That was when it was 122-100. You think that. It was 122-100, and the final score was 136-134. That is a 14-34 outscoring down the stretch in favor of the Utah Jazz. But the Blazers weathered the storm. That's exactly what they needed to do, and now they come home above 500. 3-2 on the season, and they get to take on a very, very good Denver Nuggets team, a team that obviously has the likes of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and can light this thing up whenever they need to. We've seen this firsthand. We've seen it in the playoffs. We've seen, obviously, Dame and CJ in the big series that they had in 2019. And then over the years, you've seen Nikola Jokic just do Nikola Jokic things. Right now, the Nuggets sit at I'm looking at the schedule here, like, where do they sit? In the regular season, they sit at 3-1, 3 straight wins, Phoenix, Minnesota, and New Orleans. They lost to the Warriors 137-131 to open the season. So Blazers need to have another good game tonight. I think this is a fun opportunity to maybe see a little Young Hansen, the Chinese Jokic, versus the actual Jokic. That's if he can get on the floor, because it was reported today that after being sent down to the Rip City Remix for a quick rehab stint for return to conditioning, that Robert Williams has been recalled. And in yesterday's injury report, he was listed as questionable. So we will hear from head coach Tiago Splitter in about 10 minutes and likely get an update on the status of Robert Williams. Unfortunately, we did just get some injury status updated, sent to our inbox from the PR team, and that is with regard to Matisse Thybulle. If you were watching that game against the Utah Jazz, he played just a handful of minutes before injuring his thumb. He did not return. Well, the team has announced that Matisse Thybulle injured that thumb, and he got an MRI on it, and it revealed a tear of the ulnar collateral ligament, the UCL, of his left thumb. He underwent surgery in Los Angeles today, and he will be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. So the injury news for Matisse Thybulle. Very unfortunate. It just continues to hit him. He's battled back, got into the season late last year, has a couple nagging injuries to start this year, and here he is looking good. He's getting steals. The defense is great. And now he's out for another 4 to 6 weeks. So he'll be reevaluated, and we'll keep you up to date with all the latest updates that we do get on Matisse Thybulle. If you want to join the conversation with me, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Of course, you go to youtube.com and jump in on the chat as well, where Timmy Hammock's trying to derail me, and I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not going to let it happen. Now, more about this Trailblazers-Utah game real quick. Let's take a look. I want to see how the box score went down. A couple of things I liked, a couple of things I didn't. You look at what happened on the Utah side of things first. Lauri Markkanen led the way with 32 points. He was 10 of 19 from the floor, 2 of 7 from beyond the arc. He had 5 rebounds as well. 8 points from Kyle Filipkowski to go with 4 rebounds. 18 points and 12 boards from Walker Kessler. And right there, I thought the Blazers did a very good job staying in this one on the glass. They did lose the rebounding battle 46-39, but considering that half the time Utah was rolling 3 7-footers out there and they're one of the league's best rebounding teams, I got to tip my hat because I thought the Blazers did not give up on that side of the ball, and it's basically kind of what kept them in the game when they needed it down the stretch. Keontae George, 29 points, 8 assists, 7 points from Svi Mikhailuk to round out the starters. Off the bench, Trailblazer legend Yusuf Nurkic, 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. On the Trailblazers side of things, Denny Avdia had 19 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Turnover numbers still high. He had 6 of them. You would like him to get that down, but also he comes by the nickname Turbo, honestly. That's his speed. He is fast. The turnovers can happen. However, you do want him to get that down in the long run. Toumani Camara, good bounce-back game. 17 points, 5 assists, 4 boards. Defense doing defense things. He did have 2 steals. 5 points, 7 boards, 4 assists from Donovan Clingan to go along with 3 block shots. Drew Holiday, absolutely incredible. 27 points, 10 of 16 from the floor, 8 assists, 5 boards, 2 steals. And one thing that doesn't show up on the box score, just the vet savvy. The ability to make sure this team stayed even keel and made the right decisions down the stretch when Utah was mounting that comeback. He definitely earned his paycheck and showed how important he is to this team. Having a guy like that you can put the ball in his hands and trust to make the right plays and make sure everyone is calm, cool, and collected when a team is trying to storm back, you can't measure how valuable that is. It was a great game from Drew. Shaedon Sharpe, he was 6 of 14 from the floor, rebounded a little bit from beyond the arc, 4 of 8 on the night. He ended with 18 points, 5 rebounds. And then Jeremy Grant off the bench had 18 points as well. Continues his incredible play coming off the bench as the Trailblazers 6-man. And as you heard earlier, Matisse Thybulle, he played just 4 minutes and 42 seconds before injuring that thumb, an injury that will keep him out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So now the Blazers, they're back home. They get the Denver Nuggets tonight. Then they get Los Angeles on Monday, Oklahoma City on Wednesday, before hitting the road for a 5-game trip that'll see them head to Miami, Orlando, New Orleans, Houston, and Dallas. So take advantage. There's some teams here that are beatable. The Lakers may be without Luka and LeBron again, so you can take advantage of that. Miami, Orlando, New Orleans, those are beatable teams. Stay the course here. Get through the tough stretch of the season to start and see where you are as this thing continues to level out. All right, this is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to follow the show, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You can also go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to head down to the Coach's Corner here from head coach Tiago Splitter. This is Blazers Game Day on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Run a business and not thinking about podcasting? Think again. More Americans listen to podcasts than ad-supported streaming music from Spotify and
hear from him as the Blazers take on the Denver Nuggets tonight. Going to be an absolute challenge. And anytime you get Nikola Jokic and company, they're going to test you. So it's going to be a good test tonight for Donovan Clingan. Stay out of foul trouble. It's going to be a good test for Robert Williams, should he play, which would be absolutely awesome. And it's going to be a test for everyone. But let's head down and hear what Coach has to say.
Tiago, who do you have available tonight? Is Rob going to go? Obviously, Tease is out.
Yeah, Tease is out. You guys already know. Rob and Chris is in. So the rest of the guys are the same.
Is Rob going to be on any kind of minutes limit?
You guys like that one. Yeah, I guess we got to be careful with him, of course, first game. So, you know, we also don't want to give the other team the scout of the game. So I got to be careful here.
On that note, how will his return affect Hansen's minutes?
Yeah, we'll see tonight. You know how the game goes and how we're gonna distribute the minutes. But you know, of course, it's an important game for us. And Rob is a veteran that knows this league, and we'll see how it goes.
With Hansen, what's kind of your message to him right now as he kind of navigates the rookie up and downs there?
Yeah, I mean, I told him from the beginning, this is a marathon. This is not like a 1 game, 5 games, 10 games. You got to be patient. You're gonna learn, you know, how this game goes. And you know, so far we could draw him off there in some minutes and get some experience. Of course, as a rookie, you want minutes, you want to play, you want to show, but you also got to be careful, right? Like that patient got to be there.
Describe what makes Denny so effective.
Well, I think he's just, you know, how can I describe? He's aggressive to the rim and running in transition. He plays the way we want to play. You know, he got a great feeling of angles to cut the defense and drive the defense.
Those no center lineups you guys have been using, do you see that as like a weapon that you're trying to get to because it's effective, or is that something you prefer as more of a curveball that you're just throwing in there? It's ultimately a seldom used sort of thing.
I think it's, you know, a little bit how our roster is, right? Like we have players that can do that. We have a group of guys that can be there together with no center. So you just got to manage like when to use it and if it's working or not. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Against Utah, you were a big proponent of fouling up 3. Is there something you drew on or history, or what makes you adopt that theory?
Well, the answer is I always did in Europe when I play, and also the numbers back up that.
Do you get the sense that the cup is something guys are excited about or getting up for?
Sorry,
Do you get the sense that the cup is something that the guys are excited about or getting up for?
To be honest, we didn't mention the cup. I think it's, you know, it's already like a big game. You know, you're playing Denver Nuggets, one of the contenders. So I don't think we need even more juice out there. I think we're good. We are focused. We know what to do. But yeah, I like the idea of the cup, and I mean we have a tough group. That's for sure. Might be the group for the death there, but tough one.
You guys have been disruptive defensively. You're leading the league in forced turnover rate in pretty excessive margin over the second best team. Is that a tempo and a style that you can keep up for the entire season? Do you look at that number and say that we can keep up with that level of intensity and pressure over the entire season?
The intention, yes. I don't know if the number is going to stay there, but that's going to be the intention and the mentality.
Is that a benefit of youth, or is that the athleticism of the group, or is that something that you're teaching them to get up for?
I think it's both. It's a little bit the youth. It's a little bit their characteristics, the tendencies. We have aggressive players, guys that have that profile. You know what I mean? So it's nothing. I didn't teach. Nobody here taught them that. We just given them, the tools to be good at something they already have.
Thiago, how will you account for in Matisse's absence? Sounds like he's going to miss a pretty decent amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, Chris probably going to get more minutes. We have Roops, we have Rob tonight, so everybody got to, bring something because Matisse it's big time. One of our best defenders and brought a lot of juice in that second unit, so we're going to miss him.
Denver brought in Valanciunas to back up Joker as a guy that if you're still playing would probably play a lot of minutes in this game against those guys. How do you prepare guys for that size coming at you? And how would you have prepared going into a game like this?
Well, we have size in our team, but we can also use the speed, right? So we're gonna read the game and see what's more beneficial to us. Both, they're gonna try to use the size. We might use size or speed. We'll see.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, there you hear from head coach Thiago Splitter. Biggest takeaway from him is that Robert Williams is a go. You will see him on the court tonight. How he is used still kind of remains to be seen. He wouldn't give away if he was on a full, 15-minute, 20-minute restriction. He just basically said we would monitor it. Didn't want to give away the entire game plan, which I can respect. I can get behind that. But we'll see how that impacts Young Hansen, who has been the first big off the bench. He's only been playing about 5 minutes a night. That is not Robert Williams' wheelhouse. It's going to be nice because you're going to be able to spell DC a little bit, may even be able to go with kind of that too big lineup, right? So throw Robert Williams out there at the 4 now and then because he can move. It's going to be good to have him back, though. I mean, he's defensively, he's great. Offensively, he's aggressive. I think pound for pound is probably your best center, quite honestly. I love Donovan Clingan, but last year there was a difference when Robert Williams was on the floor. And so, yeah, it's going to be good to have him back. And we'll see how that all plays out. You heard him talk about Matisse Thybulle being out, too. He's kind of been that, good energy guy for the second unit. With him out, that's going to be unfortunate. That just means you're going to see likely more minutes of Chris Murray. You might even see Rupert get out there a little bit. Maybe you run into situations where, you can go Drew and Sharp and Denny at the 3, Jeremy Grant getting at the 4, right? So you start mixing up those rotations a little bit. So you move Denny over to the 3 more. So we'll see how Thiago Splitter balances that. I think that's a pretty good indication, right, of what he's doing as a coach, is how he deals with kind of the first little adversity here. Losing a player. Like, yes, he came in, he didn't have Scoot and Robert available, but the lineup was still the same as it had been, the last handful of games prior to the stuff that went down. This time it's, the team he had last game, and now you lose a guy. So it'll be interesting to see how those rotations go, especially with the way Thiago has been coaching. He's been doing a real good job, I think, kind of messing with the rotations and kind of putting who's good out there. It's not necessarily, okay, I got to put in player X at the 5-minute mark. It's like, nope, we're going to adjust to what is in front of me, and he's been doing a good job there. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your, almost said coach, but I'm not your coach. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation with us, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. And of course, you can head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat there as well. Shout out to the Rousing Rat, our buddy Alex, throwing a housewarming party tonight. I would have been there to, eat all those snacks and leave early, but I had a game to do. And an update in the World Series, 0-0, top of the first. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to dive into this game tonight, see what the Blazers need to do and what are the Nuggets bringing to the court. They are still as good as ever. Chris Burkhardt here with you. This is Blazers Game Day on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
If you have cracked walls, sloping floors, sticking doors, you may have foundation issues. The good news is Ramjack can fix that. People who do their homework choose Ramjack. Schedule your free foundation.
There we go. Fix this so, you only heard first half of the commercial. Kirk, if you're just tuning in, the answer is yes, he will be playing tonight. Minutes restriction. Coach just would not say what that minutes restriction was. but he will be playing tonight. That is good. All right, we'll be back. Commercial break. Time to stretch. Blazers. If you want to join the conversation with me tonight, all you got to do is head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the chat there. And as a reminder, be sure to follow us on social media at Rip City Radio 620, where we'll have plenty of pre- and post-game videos from our Trailblazers insider, Sean Hyken, as well as plenty more news and notes and everything that happens with regard to your Portland Trailblazers. Speaking of which, Blazers have been playing very well. They have a 3-2 record and 2 games, quite frankly, that they probably could have won. The offense just didn't show up. That game in L.A. was one of them where they just shot abysmally from the floor. When the offense is going, things are looking good. Defensively, they've been great. Now, Denny Avdia has been a bright spot for this team. He's been one of, if not the best Trailblazer in the early season. In fact, that game against Utah, because Drew Holiday was going off and so was basically everyone else, that was the first game that Denny didn't eclipse the 20-point mark. Oh, he only had 19. And if we get to the point in the year where a 19-point game from Denny Avdia is like, oh, man, he only scored 19, such an off night, I think we'll take that. I think we'll take that. That's a good thing, a good problem to have. And he's kind of been a leader of this team since he really found his role about 2 months into the year last year. And he had a chance to talk to the media, and I want to hear what he had to say following that game against the Jazz.
I feel like we didn't back off. We keep playing our game. We were focused at the end. We hit some clutch free throws. Shout out to Drew for knocking down those free throws. That was big time from him. And that's about it. We were just focused on defense, fouled when we needed. We just didn't have to come so close, I think, at the end. But as I said, it was kind of tough down the stretch.
What was the coaching staff saying to you? What were you guys saying to each other?
Just keep playing our game, like try to close the game out. I think I needed to be better with the turnovers in the fourth, and that's about it. We didn't really change anything special.
You didn't change anything, but they kind of jumped out on you guys in the first quarter. You're down by as many as 13. So what did you guys do kind of after that to get up in your favor?
Well, the coaching staff kind of prepared us that they're a really good first quarter team, and they always start in a hard start. So we didn't panic. As I said, our identity is keep pressuring full court, keep speeding them up. And we were playing together today. I mean, shout out really to everybody. I think everybody participated today. Everybody made some change. Even some guys that didn't play last game, which is Roops and Wap. They were great today. Yeah.
What do you think happened in that last, 6 minutes of the fourth quarter to let them get back in it?
I don't know. I think we kind of like sped up, and we didn't make as many shots as we did, and that's about it.
2-1 on this road trip. What do you like about where you guys are at right now?
I like our identity. I like how we're playing together. I like how each and every night everybody brings 100% effort, and there is something really special in Portland with this team.
And I like that. I like how he's asked that question from Brooke, and he says, I like our I like our identity. I like how we're playing together. And they definitely are. The identity is that they're going to bring it to you on the defensive side of the ball, and they're going to make you work. Offensively, they're going to have off nights. They're going to have great nights, but defensively, there really is no let-up. And we'll see what happens tonight. But, I mean, so far through 5 games, every single team has made mention of what the Blazers are doing on the defensive side of the ball. Unfortunate that you don't have Matisse Thybulle as part of that rotation now for the next month and a half, as he's out after getting surgery earlier this morning for a tear of the UCL in his left thumb. He's been great, but that just means a little more Chris Murray, I think, has been absolutely phenomenal with the minutes he's been given. Maybe you get Roops out there. And you heard Denny there talk about how those guys, have stepped up, and they stepped up in that game. Guys you don't normally see get minutes. I mean, Dwap Reith was one of them. He hit 3 3-pointers when they needed big shots and got those things rolling. So those guys being ready to go is huge, and hopefully they can go out there tonight and continue that hot play. I like it. I like what they're laying down, man. I absolutely just like the way the team's playing. Right now, the team, we have been talking to you all for the last handful of years. Defense, defense, defense. And we all thought that last year when they went through that stretch where they were one of the top 5 defenses in the league, we were telling, okay, you're finally seeing a Coach Billups defense. That's what we were all saying. Now, the argument was, yeah, but they were playing, teams that weren't great offensively or teams that were missing their stars. And my argument was the whole time, well, that didn't matter to me because those same teams were destroying you earlier in the season. You've made adjustments. So now there was the question mark all off season long was what we saw at the end of the year against, easier, air quote, competition or not, was that to be sustained or was that a mirage? Well, so far, through 5 games, it looks like it's the real thing. Now, I got to be careful because I've been in arguments with Blazer fans about guys like Shaden Sharp who struggled a little bit. That, you don't judge an entire year by the first 5 games. We'll see how it goes. However, playing well like this and the consistency level they're bringing is definitely giving me something to look forward to every night to see if they can continue to do so. Now, against the Denver Nuggets tonight, how good this defense is, it's going to absolutely be challenged. Now, it was challenged, obviously, Minnesota when Anthony Edwards went off, and Golden State, Sacramento, Steph Curry did his thing. And in L.A., Kawhi couldn't miss shots. Against the Lakers, it was Austin Reeves. And it seems like every single night, someone still found a way to make shots. And tonight, you have to go up against one of the best in the biz, in Nikola Jokic, who right now is only averaging 20 points per game. Jamal Murray leading the way for the Nuggets with 27. But Nikola Jokic leads his team in rebounds at 14.5. He leads his team in assists at 11.2. He leads his team in steals at 2.0. The guy's just an absolute machine. And, he only averages 20 points right now because he's out there dishing darn near 12 assists and getting everybody involved. So when you have a guy who can score at so many levels, because he can score in the paint, he can score in the mid-range, we know that he can stretch the floor, but he also has gravity with his ability to pass and lead other people to shots. This is the type of player that I think is really, really going to test this Trailblazers defense, especially considering that guys like Donovan Clingan and Young Hansen, who has got a few minutes here early on in the year, kind of struggle when they're forced to get out of the paint, and Nikola Jokic is going to make you move. That's why it's very, very nice to have Robert Williams back tonight, even if he's on a minutes restriction. If this team goes small, do you get Denny Grant or Toumani Camara minutes on Nikola Jokic, which if you remember last year, you saw Toumani Camara defensive minutes on Nikola Jokic. So this game, I think more so than any to this point in the early year, is really, really going to test this defense. And I can't wait to see it. This is Blazers Game Day. If you want to join the conversation with us, 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. And, of course, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio as well. Well, Kirk is, Thibault's been playing so well. He has, and it's just unfortunate that he has to have that injury, and he's out now. But on the flip side of that, you get Robert Williams back from injury, and I think that's going to be a good good infusion of energy and defensive prowess at that center spot. Also, be sure you're following us on social media at Rip City Radio 620. All the latest news, reports, and all that on our social media accounts, and from our Trailblazers insider, Sean Hyken. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's time for our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to get a victory over the Denver Nuggets? We'll let you know when we return here on Blazers Game Day on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. 1 in the NBA right now. So they score the second most points. They shoot the best field goal percentage from the floor. Also, if you foul them, they will take advantage. Now, they take 21.3 attempts from the line, which is dead center, 15th in the NBA right now in attempts per game, but they shoot a league-leading 89.5%. So they are good offensively. They score a lot. They score a lot from the line with efficiency, and when they shoot, they tend to make it. So this is where the Blazers defense comes in handy, because right now the Blazers are averaging 12.2 steals per game, which is number 1 in the NBA. One of only 4 teams averaging double digits in steals, the other 3 being Phoenix, Oklahoma City, and Sacramento. The Blazers also in there with 4.8 blocks per game, which is right there in the middle. They're at 16th in the league, but you couple that with the fact that they lead the league in steals, and this is a team that can definitely make you pay on the offensive side with how good their defense is. So that's the key. The absolute key to this game is how good can your defense be against that Nikola Jokic-led Denver Nuggets offense. I mean, for all the praise the Blazers have been getting for what they do on the defensive side of the ball, Denver should be getting that exact same praise for what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball, because, like I said, number 1 in scoring, number 1 field goal percentage, number 1 at the free throw line. That's a team that just absolutely gets it done on the offensive side of things. And, shout out to Coach Adelman, who's turned that thing and grabbed that steering wheel and made sure that thing was still driving in the right direction and has them playing great basketball. Outside of that, you've got to, I'm struggling for the word, you've got to just be smart with how you play that defense, because the Blazers obviously play aggressive defense, but they do get 23.2 fouls per night, which is in the bottom 10 for the most in the league. And if you get into foul trouble with a guy like a Robert Williams tonight or a Donovan Clingan against a guy like Nikola Jokic, then there may be no turning back, because if you have no big to go in there and at least put a body on him, he's going to find ways to hurt you. Outside of that, on the flip side of that coin, you got to make sure the guys outside of Donovan Clingan and Robert Williams are ready to be up to the task, because you may see situations tonight where you have, like I said, Tumani Kamara having to guard him, maybe Denny Avdia. It's definitely going to be all hands on deck defensively. But the best part about this team thus far in this early season is they have proven that they kind of thrive in that all hands on deck scenario. So do it again tonight. Get the defense rolling, and you're going to have guys like Tumani Kamara not only be good defensively, we're going to have him have those good offensive games, as he's been showing to have here in the early season, but he's also had the flip side where he scores just 5 points. So you just need everybody to show up, because this is a team more so than just about any that they've played to this point that will absolutely find ways to hurt you. I think Golden State's kind of built in that same mold, just as with Curry and Kerr, and the way they've built that thing for the last decade plus is they find ways to hurt you. But Denver is an entirely different beast. So the keys to the game is just make sure your defense is on point, because this is going to be a really, really good matchup of your strength versus my strength and which one wins. And you look at the games that this Blazer team has dropped this year, that game against Minnesota, they probably win if they can find some offense down the stretch. That game against the Clippers, they probably win if they don't shoot, I think it was 36% from the floor. They were 11 for 40-something from beyond the arc. If they don't do that, they win that game. All they needed was a few more buckets. They shot 37 from the floor, 11 of 41 from beyond the arc. So defense has been good through all 5 games. It's just a matter of making sure that offense matches up with it. You've got to find something there, especially when you're playing the best offensive team in the NBA. You don't score points, you ain't winning. It is a 100% proven mathematical NBA fact that you win 100% of the games that you outscore your opponent in. Tell me I'm wrong. Well, so forfeit. No, forfeits don't count. Forfeits don't count. Actual games. If you score more than the other team, you are the winner. That's that. That's that. All right, if you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. For those of you just tuning in, just parking and getting ready to walk on over to Moda Center and miss the first segment there is some news, and that is Robert Williams will be available to play tonight. He was brought back up from the Rip City remix yesterday, where he was down there just for some conditioning, which is kind of formality where they send them down to go get some conditioning while the team's on a road trip. But he was brought back up and cleared, and so he will play today. Head coach Tiago Splitter did not say that he was on a exact minutes restriction, but did say that the minutes will be monitored. He didn't want to let the other team know that, hey, once he hits 15, he's not playing anymore, which, kudos to him. Young coach knows what he's doing. But also, the other side of that is that Matisse Thybulle left the game against Utah early after appearing to injure his thumb. He had an MRI. The MRI confirmed a tear of the UCL in his left thumb. He had surgery on that this morning in Los Angeles, and he will be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. So you get Robert Williams back, and unfortunately, at the exact same time, you lose one of the best defenders on your team. So the Blazers will have to adjust to that as well. So defensively, again, you lose a guy like Tease, but you pick up a guy like Rob, and everybody needs to be on the same page, ready to go, because you're playing a Denver Nuggets team that's absolutely going to find ways to hurt you. It's with this team, it's not as much just like weathering the storm. It's understanding that you got to storm back too. This is not the type of boxing match where it's like, hey, we're just gonna. It's not like Homer when he's trying to, become a boxing champion, but then he eventually has to fight, Tatum or whatever. And it's like, hey, you know what? You can't just take the punches and wait till they wear out. You got to punch back too. If the Blazers just take the punches and wait till Denver wears out, they're gonna have a lead that you can't come back from. So you got to make sure if you're Portland, you find those haymakers as well. Punch back. Looking at you, Shaden Sharp, Matisse Thybulle. Oh, he's not playing. Darn it. Oh, who's going to fill up? Tamani Kamara, punch back. Denny Avdia, punch back. Drew Holiday, punch back. I have no idea why I said Matisse. Come on. I get confused because he's not playing. Ugh. I wish he were, because boy howdy, as some of the YouTube chatters said, his defense has been fun in the early season. I mean, the guy gets out there and it's just like Steel City. And so it's so unfortunate with the other injuries that he's battled and played with and had to overcome that he's not available tonight in this one. And as for the Nuggets, the Denver Nuggets, they come in. Their team's ready to go. Trying to see if we get a health update on who is available for them tonight. Haven't seen one as of yet. Usually they have like the update down there in Media Row. You can go grab the papers, but I'm not down in Media Row right now. I'm up here. But there was some question marks as to whether or not Jamal Murray would be a go, but I think everything's going to be good here. Regardless, you have Nikola Jokic, and that guy's just an absolute monster with capital M. Like, he's a monstar. Like he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. The good part about tonight is if you're just a basketball junkie, you understand that you get to watch really good players play really good basketball. And you just hope that the Blazers come out on the right side of it. If not, 500 ball through 6 games with the competition you've had to play, you definitely could take that and enjoy that. However, I'm not saying that's the goal, because victories are always better. And this one does matter a little bit more because this is game 1 of pool play, if you will, for the Emirates Cup. The court looks phenomenal. Win this game, maybe you win that in-season tournament. All right, we're going to get out of here, but don't go anywhere, because coming up next, you got the Trailblazers pregame show across the Trailblazers audio network. Curtis Long will take you. And then you'll have Travis Demers giving you the call of Blazers and Nuggets all right here on Rip City Radio. And when the game's done, come right back here where we'll have the 5th quarter, where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. Rip City. I'll talk to you after the game.